All right. This question comes to us from shitakebbq in the R Alien subreddit. If there is an NHI disclosure attempt, is there or should an NHI greeting committee be formed that is comprised of non military, non government agencies, but mostly reputable international citizens to be a transparent channel for communications with NHI? Thank you.
Well, I've not personally even attempted to ponder questions like this because I think it really cannot be answered until we know what the government knows. Um, you know, um, uh, we have really no idea the extent to which, if any, the government has made contact. We certainly hear reports and assertions about it, but I don't think. Well, certainly speaking for myself as a congressional staff member, I don't have any confident understanding about this, and we don't know what the government has been able to achieve. Is there more than one NHI species that we are aware of? Certainly, we've heard reports that there are multiple NHI species, but I think questions like this need to wait until this matter is further disclosed.
That makes sense. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our next Redditor question. This one comes from sotomexw. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from R Aliens. Given the allowance of the impingement of restricted airspace, has this government been reassured that these entities are of no threat whatsoever? It seems that must be the case. Could the idea be that they are of such advancement that our physically bound defense mechanisms are as meaningless to them as dandelion fluff on a breeze, and they have no intention or need to hurt us?
Well, once again, I sound like a broken record, but I really don't think I have a foundation or a basis to answer this question. My uninformed assumption is that NHI that can get here from from very far away across the universe, that they have technological superiority, and that would afford them the ability to go where they please without much, if any, risk at all. With respect to whether the United States government is quote allowing this, I have no idea. Yeah, maybe we have no choice but to allow it. Who knows? I think there are some observers who would suggest that we haven't been invaded, we haven't been blown up, despite the fact that there's been a lot of UAP visitations. That maybe the United States government has gained confidence that they do not present a mortal threat to mankind or to the United States, and therefore is sort of like has a degree of equanimity about these visitations. We just don't know.
Our first one is going to come from Dissirregardlessly. I love these names. From R Aliens. What is the most alarming piece of NHI or UAP activity to you? What are the key fears motivating the cover up by the clandestine programs groups?
I really wouldn't know what clandestine groups and all those guys are possibly thinking. The the thing that really interests me is just the way they moved, um, especially some of the sizes of things that we've heard of, or some of the things that the witnesses have said. I've heard stories where they talked about a light came out of whatever it was, and they said that the light moved slowly. It wasn't an instant on. It came out slowly, like it was slowly reaching out to them, and and then sometimes it stopped in front of him, and someone said it described like he thought like he was looking down a tunnel when the light came to him. So all those things kept telling me, based on my imagination, either these people are crazy or what they're talking about is actually possible, and we just haven't figured out the physics to know how to do that yet. And that's pretty much what really took me in to say, now that there was this UAP program and I was a part of it, I wanted to know more about. Because, we talk about things moving at umpteen thousand miles an hour, and then it does a left-hand turn or a right-angle turn or go up. I remember seeing after the Belgian flap, the Belgian Air Force showing the video of the F-16 radar, and whatever it was trying to lock onto was moving out of the way. And I was like, are they anticipating? Are they in our comms? What is it? I mean, something they had was better than what we had. So I'm trying to think, how do you outmaneuver it? And then because of all the movies that I saw, all the science fiction movies, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if this is an alien invasion, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna figure out, how to beat them, and run back to my boss and go, hey, I got it. This is what's going on. There was no such moment, but it was still very intriguing to see all this information and start seeing a thread that I could sit there. And probably the better part of it was feeling free to talk to people in front of me about all aspects of what was going on.
This one is from ET-FONE-HME. These names are so great. From our aliens. Do you think the government will ever openly admit the existence of NHI in our lifetime? If so, do you think we'd get anything more than they exist and we don't know anything else?
Kirk, you want to weigh in on that one?
I feel like I've already fielded a question like that, and I don't feel like as I said, I don't got no crystal ball on this. I don't think I'm any more qualified than anyone else to answer.
Okay. The only thing I can say is, at least for the Navy videos, the government has already admitted that there's something out there. They just don't know what it is. I think President Obama said the same thing. There's something out there. I got briefed and we're trying to figure it out. That might be the best you will get for a while until we collect more data and we're able to give something definitive to say, look, you're asking about transmedium. Here's the video of it actually entering the water, and here's another video of it coming out. And hey, we got 4 videos of it entering the water. That that would be something that Congress would be like, okay, this is definitive. We see it. I've heard, oh, I saw beings come out and whatever. Well, and I caveat this, if your electronics work, get a picture, collect the sounds, everything. All that means something to us so that we can collectively put it together and figure out what's going on. Because without the public, I'm not saying anything ill of the government, but if the government doesn't know, the only other way they're going to figure out is by you telling them. And right now, it's been word of mouth. We need evidence. And my app, when people used to ask me, I said, it's for the skeptics, the believers, and the in-betweeners. Okay? I keep using these quotes like, let's collaborate to graduate. Teamwork makes the dream work. All these things are trying to say, let's work together because it's the only way we're gonna figure things out. And then I want to be the first one to show up on Kirk's desk with, here you go. Let's go to the senators and go talk to them.
So our first question comes from insanispremero. I know I'm butchering some of these guys. I'm sorry. From our aliens. The question is, what do you know about the efforts to obtain the 35-second clip of the Virginia alien? Have you watched it? How can we as a community help to push or lobby for its release?
So great question. And I've had to sift through hundreds, maybe thousands of messages on both, emails, cryptid messages, YouTube videos from my appearance on Joe Rogan when I talked about it. In fact, I just met a gentleman, Jonathan, from the Soul Foundation, who's designing some AI software that will enable to sift through tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of messages because critical information can come in. And I have been doing that to the best of my ability in between making the program. And I had a number of leads, probably sifted it down to 11. But it's the kind of thing where I need to go back to Brazil and follow these leads up. And it's not going to happen. And, they're not doing it remotely. So I can remind the audience if, I just reported on the Calvine UFO case. I've been discreetly going after that photograph. Thank you, David Clark, by the way. I've been discreetly going after that photograph for over 20 years. So I don't just give up on things. I can assure you I'm doing the best I can to follow up the leads and super busy and trying to get back to Brazil to meet some of those individuals that claim to have it in person and see if we can figure it out.
This one comes from Adhesiveness OK 5194 in Our Aliens. Based on what you see about these phenomena, what do you think is the foreseeable future of disclosure in America? Are things coming to a head that will result in a changing of the guard? Or do you think these beings are largely uninterested in interfering with world happenings beyond allegedly preventing us from destroying the planet altogether?
Well, I've come to this conclusion organically because, and I've talked about it over the decades. I'm thinking to myself, well, these things, these objects, UAP, have done some pretty brazen things. I mean, they hovered over O'Hare Airport, that disc that hovered over O'Hare. What was that, 2005? Broad daylight, punched a hole in the cloud as it departed, seen by a number of United Airlines, people, personnel, pretty bold. I look at the case in Phoenix. We were just talking about it a little while ago, that massive flyover from across the state at a time when a lot of people were outside under the night sky trying to get a glimpse of the Hale-Bopp comet. A pretty brazen act. But if they really wanted to reveal their identity or their presence unequivocally, all they'd have to do is hover over the Macy's Day Parade or the next Super Bowl, and it's game over. But they don't do that. So that I look at what they do, and I also look at what they don't do. And so there's a side of me that believes that they, again, whoever they are also in on the secrets, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't know. And I feel like I have more questions now than I did when I started 30 years ago. I tried to like figure out what the hell's going on. And now I'm like, I really don't know what's going on. I just get dumber and dumber with the years go by.